everyone, Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs, and today's video is all about the dome candy cards. I have 4 new dome candy cards. It's been a minute since we've done some of these, and so this video for some of you may be a little bit of a refresher, and for others you've never even seen them or know what they are. So what they are is it's a card that lays flat, and you have a circle in the top, and you fill half of a Christmas ornament with candy. You'll see this as it comes together, and then you can give it as a gift or a card. These are a little bit on the larger side, but I've got 4 that are perfect for summer, birthdays, patriotic, just all kinds of things that are coming up in the next few months. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share with you the supplies that you need first, and then we will go ahead and start building these. So the first thing that you need is a plastic Christmas ornament. And I know it's only June, but you can pick these up just about anywhere. I was at Hobby Lobby yesterday, and they were actually putting out all of their Christmas stuff already. So you can get these at Hobby Lobbies, Michael's, most of your craft stores are going to have them. You can also buy them online on Amazon or other places. That's where I get mine. If you're going to do a lot of these, you'll want to buy them in bulk, and that's probably the cheapest way to do it. So I will leave a link down below with all of the supplies where you can get these. Now for the cards, the way that they are designed, you will need an 80 millimeter or 3.15 inch dome. If you get something that is smaller or larger, I have another video that I show you how to resize your files to make it fit your dome. But for the ones today and for the size that they originally download in, you will want this size, which is the 80 millimeter or 3.15. And you only need half of a dome per card. So today we're going to do 4 cards. We'll need 2 of these domes, or 2 of these ornaments. The other thing that you'll need is, first you will need a hot glue gun, any brand, but I have decided that hot works a little bit better than the cool melt. So you'll want that. You're also going to want a tape runner and or glue. You can use one or the other or both. I usually use my tape runner on the bigger pieces, and then for the smaller pieces I use my glue. And this is the glue that I buy. It's the Scotch Tacky glue. And then I go ahead and put it into a small bottle so that when we start working with some of these smaller pieces, you have that needle nose. So adhesive of some type, glue or tape runner, and then you will also want some foam tape, either pop dots or tape on a roll, doesn't matter. And if you're using the roll, you will want a pair of scissors. And then the last thing that you will need is a pencil. And then of course you will need some type of candy or something to fill your domes with. All of these cards are like all of my others. They have 2 back options. We have a pull tab or a dial tab. The pull tab works really well for small children or anybody that has a hard time with dexterity, because you just have to pull a tab. The dials work really nice because they're easier to fill, and they don't, you can get the candy out without tearing the back off. So either one of those works. The other thing that you will need is, if you are doing the dial backs, you'll need 1 brad for each dial back that you're doing. And these are just the regular brads, brick brads, brass brads, fasteners, whatever you want to call them. They are not the little scrapbooky ones that you used to get that are tiny. These are just your regular size. And this is what you'll need. So now that I've explained all of your supplies, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start with the ice cream cone, and I will show you the pieces that come with this. So on the ice cream cone, we have the cherry, and it is actually 3 layers. So you have the leaf, the cherry, and the back piece that is the stem. So you will cut this out of brown or whatever color you want your stem. If you don't want your ice cream cherry to have a stem, you can delete this piece, because that's really all that's going to show. So it's up to you. We have the optional frame, and we also have the optional chocolate. So this makes it look like your ice cream has chocolate on the top. You'll have your ice cream piece. You'll have your cone. And then you will have two background pieces. So this is the color that's going to show through the back of your cone. I did it in yellow. And then we have one more piece, and this is just for stability. So you would not need to cut this out if you don't want to. I highly recommend that you do. It gives your card a little bit of stability. I've always said on these dome cards that you want at least 3 layers. And so that's why this is here. It's the same as this one, but you'll want to cut it out so that you have some thickness to your card. And then we have our 2 back options. So we have the back option that has the pull tab, and we have the back option that has the dial back. So if you're doing the dial back, you'll use this back option that has the half circle cut out. If you're using the pull tab, you're going to use this solid piece. If you're doing the dial back, you will also have 2 washers. These are really important. You'll have the dial, and then you'll have the dial cover. For this card, we are going to do the pull back, so I'm going to set those aside. And we're going to bring our pull back, our back with the pull tab, and I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but there's a little pull tab and then your perforation lines. So to get started on this, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to take that pull tab, and we're just going to kind of train it to poke out. Not a big deal, just like that. And then we're going to lay it down, and we're going to take our back piece and lay it to match everything up. Take your pencil and draw the inside circles. This is where your dome is going to go. So we're just going to draw all the way around. You can either skip over the tab or draw on it. I'm just going to put that on there. Okay, when you're doing the pull tabs, you'll need to take your dome and fill it first. So I'm going to break it apart. It doesn't matter which side that you use, and we are going to go ahead and fill it up. So I've just got some 6-slits. I thought they kind of looked like confetti on an ice cream. Oh, there's a string in there. And I'm just going to fill that up. Almost to the top, not quite. Okay, then we're going to take our back and we're going to lay it on top of the dome. You want the pull tab in the opposite direction of where this hang tab on your dome is. So I'm going to just kind of lay it on there, flip it over, and then push this dome so it's right on that line that I covered. And on this particular one, on the ice cream, I'm going to turn my hang tag so that it is up here by where the cherry goes and away from the pull tab. Once you've got that right on the line, the very best that you can get it, it's not going to be exact, but once it's there, you're going to take your glue gun, and we're going to take glue and run it all the way around the dome, except not where that pull tab is. We don't want glue on the pull tab. Oh, and I just bumped it. Okay, so I'm just going to take my glue gun and put a bead of glue all the way around. Maybe if I turn this a little bit. I've just got it on a silicone mat from the dollar store. I think these work really good. Okay. Put another. Okay. And then we're going to just kind of set that to the side and let it dry first while we assemble the rest of the card. I'm just going to lay that to the side. Maybe move some of those strings. then we're going to take our back layer, which in this case is the white, and our next layer, and we're going to glue those together. So you can use glue or your tape runner. I'm just going to do a little bit of tape. And we're just going to match those up. Just like that. Okay, next up we're going to do our cone. So we want to put the waffle part of the cone on first, and I'm going to do that with glue. I'm just going to flip it over and some glue along some of those stripe pieces. And if you wanted to ink up your cone pieces, you could. I'm going to flip that over, line it up, and then we'll take the top part of our cone and do the same thing. We're just going to glue it on there. Take your ice cream piece, and you could cut this out of any color. I'm doing vanilla ice cream, but you could do chocolate or strawberry, mango. You could cut this out of polka dot paper, and like the polka dots is the confetti on there. That would be lots of fun. If you had some cherry paper or strawberry paper to make your ice cream cone strawberry-ish. Okay, now we're going to do the cherry. So I'm going to flip it over, and I am not going to put glue on the stem piece because there's no stem piece up here. I'm just going to put it on the solid. And then the same with my cherry, put it on. And then the leaf, we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of the leaf and add it. Now we've got the chocolate, and you could have added the chocolate on first or last. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and add my chocolate. Or you can leave it off if you're not a chocolate lover. And now we're ready to put this piece onto here. So I'm going to flip it over and take my foam tape, and we're just going to put foam pieces around. The reason that we use the foam tape is your dome has this little hang tag right there, and so it already lifts it off the page a little bit, and if you try to glue it with that tab there, it's going to be uneven. Now you can cut off that tab if you want to, and then you could just glue this directly to it. You could also use like your glue dots or whatever you have on hand. I've just found that the foam tape works the very best, and you don't have to cover the whole thing, just maybe in a couple of spots. And I like the roll because I can cut it to the size that I want. And again, I will put that in the link below too. But most of your craft stores carry it on the roll anymore. And we're just going to remove these pieces. And then we'll flip it over and put it on the back. I think this ice cream would be so fun for a birthday party or a birthday party invitation. You could put your information down here if you wanted to. And now we're just going to lay that on there. Match it up. Press those foam tapes down. And there you have your ice cream dome card. Flip it over. This is the pull tab. So for those who are wanting to know, if I measure this, it is 4.5 inches at the widest part, and height is about 8 inches. So it's not going to fit in your regular card, but I don't know that you'd want to mail these anyway. If you were going to mail these, I would wrap them up with some tissue and put them in a box. Okay, so there is the ice cream. Let's do the camera next. Here is our camera, and we are going to do this one with a dial back. So the pieces that come with it are, let me set those aside. Oh, I forgot one thing. Whoops, let me go back. Okay, so on this one, we have the frame. The frame pieces are optional. So if you want to add a frame to kind of give it a finished look around your ice cream cone, you can, or you can leave it without. Because I have one cut, I'm going to use it. Just put a little bit of glue on and then slip that over. And there you go. So you can decide if you want to use the little frame piece or not. The next one is our camera, and I will show you the pieces that go with that. Here is the frame. We have a decorative piece on the front of the camera. We have the flash or the button. This is the button that goes on the top of your camera. Then we have the top layer, the middle layer, and then you'll have your back layer, and there's two different backs depending on which one you want to use. So, I got this mixed up. This is the pull tab. And if you flip it over, you'll notice the pull tab is at the top. We're going to set that one aside because on this one, we are going to do the dial back. So for the dial back, we have the half circle, we have the dial back cover, and then we have the dial and the two washers. So the first thing that we want to do is we need to decide where to put the dome. So I'm going to take my regular piece or my back piece, match it up, and we're going to do the same thing that we did before. And we are just going to trace that line all the way around. Okay. Then we're going to take a brad, and we are going to take the back piece first, the very back, the dial cover. And we're going to put the brad in so that the outside, the button piece, is on the bottom. Then you'll want to take your washer. Remember I said these washers are really important. It's what makes the dial able to spin. So we're going to put the dial on, we're going to put the washer on, and then we're going to put the dial on, and then we are going to put another washer on. We're going to flip this over so that it's upside down or backwards, and we're going to put the brad through that hole and then open up the brad. And you kind of want the brad, the prongs, to go underneath the circle, not across it. Okay, once that's done, then we need to glue this dial or this cover piece down. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that this spins. And if it's not spinning, it's most likely you forgot your washers. If you don't have washers, that won't spin. If you're using an extremely heavy paper, you may want to do 2 sets of washers and do 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to put glue all the way around the edge of this back piece. However, we want a really thin line because we do not, I don't know if you can see that, we don't want glue to get onto where the dial is. So I'm just going to do it really slow and go a little bit at a time. You also do not want glue down here on this piece. Okay, you want it off of the dial. So we're going to start right here in this corner, flip it over, and we're just going to put a little line of glue. All right, where'd my pen go? keep it right on the edge. This is why you want this thinner bottle. And then just work all the way around, keeping it really thin and right on the edge. I might have to pull this out of the camera view for just a minute so I can see it. Right on the edge and a really thin line. Okay, and we're going to set that to the side to make sure that it dries. And then you can try spinning it. Mine's not quite dry yet. And if it doesn't spin, you probably got glue up under where the dial is supposed to go. So I did that and lifted it up. So now we need to put that there. Okay, so let's set that to the side. And we are going to take our camera piece. And the first piece we want to cut out of red because it's going to show not the button, I guess that would be. So I'm going to just use some tape. And then right up here, we're on this little skinny piece. I'm going to just put some glue. Okay, and we're going to layer that. Bring our front piece, and it goes right along the bottom. The curves match up. This is probably the simplest of the 4 cards that I'm going to do today. It still has the 3 layers. And then we're going to take our little button and put it right there. So that's the front of our card. We have the frame, and now we have the back of our card. So if the back of the card is dry, which mine is not, take our back piece and we're going to flip it back over the way that it's supposed to go. And we are going to glue on our dome. When you do the dial back, you don't have to fill the dome first. So we're just going to find our circle. And again, we want this tab away from the opening. So I'm just going to set it right there. And I have decided that I like having the opening opened so that I don't get glue on there. Okay. I'm going to set it right there. I'm going to hold it and take my glue gun and glue all the way around the dome. So the dial back does have a few more pieces and it has a few more steps. It really depends on how much time you want to put into this and what you're looking at it to do. Okay, once we have that, now we can take our camera front and we're just going to, with the pop dots, add it to the front of that card, to the front of the back. So I'm going to take my pop dots again, or my foam tape. When you cut out the back pieces, they will actually show through that little window as your flash. So you're going to want to cut it out of the color that you want to do your flash. And I can tell from my back that I put this down too far. So I need to bring it up. There we go, otherwise the dome wouldn't have fit. Okay, so now I stuck it to the table. Okay, now we can add this. And if you want the frame, you can add the frame. Flip it over. And when you have the dial back, oops, that didn't go right where it was supposed to do. There we go. When you have the dial back, you can go ahead and fill it first. I mean, fill it after you've assembled it. So this time we're just going to use some little Hershey Kisses. Stick it in there. And then go ahead and close that up. And like I said, I'm going to make this piece bigger so that you don't have that issue going on. There you go. And there is your dial back and your camera with some Hershey Kisses. Isn't that fun? All right, next up, is the gumdrop machine. So on the gumdrop machine, again, you have both back options. And there are some different pieces on here. This one is just a little bit different. So we have the stand for the machine, and you have the top and the bottom stand. So we're going to set those to the side. And then you have your little key that turns it. You have a frame. You have the white part of your gumball machine. You'll have a red frame, or whatever color your machine is going to be. That's what you're going to cut this out of. So if you wanted this as pink or blue or pattern paper, that's what you would cut this pattern out of. This is the same piece. It again is just an extra piece for stability. So I cut mine out of white. You could do the same color as this one, whatever you want, but you'll need this piece for a little bit of stability. And then we have our then we have the black piece. So this, the only piece that's going to show on this is the hole that, you know, on your machines where the candy comes out. So this one I cut out of black. And then we have our back pieces. So we have a pull tab, which is what we're going to do today, or we have the dial back. And again, I'm going to make this piece a little bit bigger in your files. You'll have the two washers and the dial. So we're going to set those aside because this one we are going to do the pull back. So we're going to flip it over. This is symmetrical, but just get in the habit of flipping it over, and you're going to kind of just lift that pull tab a little bit. Flip it back to the front and take your next piece. I'm going to actually take the white because it's going to show up. And this back piece has a little bit of shadow all the way around it. So you're going to line this up so that you can see the pull tab score lines, or if you're doing the dial back where you can see your half circle. So you're going to line that up. Take your pencil and mark on there. Then we are going to take another half of our dome, our Christmas ornament, and this time I'm going to fill this one up with actual gumballs. I thought that would be fun. So I've got some different sizes in here. We want to make sure that they all fit flat though. Okay. I'm going to put this on the top, flip it over, and then move this dome so that it is right on that line that we drew with the pencil. You want your hang tab so that it's not laying on the pull tab. So I'm going to put my hang tab up towards the top. And that is really hard to see that line on the black, but I think we've got it. Nope, now we've got it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Just use your glue gun all the way around. And this is why I like the hot glue. Stay away from the pull tab. Don't put glue on the pull tab. I started to say the reason I like the hot glue is I think it holds that dome on there a lot better than a cool melt or somebody else. I've had a couple people tell me they use the E6000. I just really like the glue gun. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our base. So there is our base. It's the black piece. We're going to take the white piece next. This is our extra one. It is for the stability. And let's just go ahead and, whoops. There we go. Put some tape on it. And this should just line up. Match up the circle first. If you're not sure, flip it over. Yep, that is pretty good. Okay, now we can take our red piece or whatever color your machine is. We're going to flip it over and put tape on it. And then we want to take the gumball part of the machine, which is the white piece, and it is a little tiny bit thicker on the top than it is on the bottom. And we're going to glue that right on there. And I used white. I used white, but you could do this in a different color too. You could do it like in a light blue, light gray, whatever color you want the inside of your gumball machine to be. And then we have the stand, the bases. So we have the shorter one goes on top, and the longer one goes on the bottom. And the reason I cut these out a second time was if you wanted to do these as a different color to add some dimension or something to your card, you could also ink those up, whatever you want. And then we've got our little the key to the machine. And if I had a small pop dot, I think I would, in fact, I'm going to try it. I'm going to put that up with just a little tiny piece of foam so that it's kind of half hanging there. Does that make sense? Not half hanging, so that it's got some dimension to it. Looks like it's popped up. Sorry, my words are not very clear today. Just like that. Okay, now we can go ahead and put that onto our the back. So we're going to flip it over. And I have these little pieces that I just cut. Let's get a few more. I think I want two little side pieces up there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove the backs off those. Flip it over and place it right on the top there. And then we can add our frame. If you want to, again, the top of the frame is a little bit wider than the bottom. And there is our gumball dome card. Wouldn't that be fun for a birthday or just about anything? Ooh, the thunder. I think we're getting a thunderstorm. The last one for today is the biggest one. I meant to show you the size on all of those, but they're all about the same. This one is pretty big. So this is our beach. Love the beach. And it is going to be about 8 inches wide and 7 inches tall. So this one is pretty big. We are going to do this one as a dial back. So these are the pieces that we have. We have the shovel, we have a piece of sand, we have our beach bucket that has 3 pieces. So it has the lip and the actual color, and then it has the bucket, and there is our handle. On this card and this card only, I have put some numbers on here so that you'll know how to layer everything so that it looks correct, but none of the numbers will show once it's completed. So we have our bucket and it says number 4. We have our frame. We have the decorative part of the beach ball and it says number 3. We have the beach ball itself and it says number 2. And then we have the background, the sand, and it says number 1. Oh, my 1 didn't pop out. There you go, and it's number 1. And then we have the 2 different backgrounds. So or back of the card. So we have, this one is for the dial back. It has the half circle. That's the one we're going to use today. We have the 2 washers and the dial. And we have the back, and I can already tell you I'm going to have to make this one a little bit bigger too. And then we have the pull tab. And if you'll notice the pull tab, when you flip it over, the back or the pull tab is actually kind of down on the bottom. So we're going to set that one aside because we're not going to use that today. Let's go ahead and take the back that we are going to use. And we're going to take our first piece, which is the sand. It says number 1. And we're just going to line it up. And there's a little bit of shadow all the way around it. I made this one extra big so that first it looks like the ocean's behind you, but also if you're having a hard time getting everything lined up, you'll never know it because you've got lots of background around here. So we're going to lay that down, and then we're going to take our pencil and just draw our circle. Okay, let's take our background piece. This will be much bigger. It will be the size of the ball when I'm done. I don't know why I made it so small. For the base, we're going to take our piece that says number 1. This is our sand piece. And we're going to take piece number 2 and glue it down. Or tape it down. And just match it up, match that circle up, and kind of spin it until it covers the background and the circles match up. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, now we can take piece 3. We're going to do the same thing with it. You're going to cover up where it says number 2. Match up the circle, the inner circle first. And there you go. And then we're going to take piece 4. And glue it, and it will cover piece 2. Or the hole that says piece 2. You'll notice that there's nothing behind the handle. And that's okay. That's because when you lay it on the background, the ocean's going to see through. So now all you have to do is finish it up. So we have our bucket. Whoops, I didn't get my bucket on there straight. There we go. So we have our bucket, the shovel, and the handle. So I'm going to glue the handle on last when we get it on the background. You just have to decide if you want the sand over the top of it or behind it. I like it over the top. So I'm going to take my bucket piece and add it first. And then the bucket brim. And I did do these in different colors so that you could do, or in different pieces so that you could do them in different colors, or you could ink them up. I'm going to actually pop this up. Just give it a little bit of dimension. There we go. I'm going to put the sand on next, and I do think I'm going to pop the sand up. We're going to put the and now we can add our bucket, or excuse me, our shovel. However you want it. All right, so I made a new dial piece cover because that other one was not going to fit, and I wanted to show you how this card goes together completed. So this is it. Nothing else has changed. Here's our background, and it's still got the circle that I drew or traced for where the dome is going to go. We're going to flip it over, and then we have the background piece. And I'm going to move this so you can see it in the center of the screen. If you lay it down and match it up, you'll notice that the fat end is on the right side of the back. If you do it the other way, it's not going to line up. So you do not want the flat side on the left of your back. You want it on the right of your back. Okay, so we're going to take our brad and we're going to poke it through, flip it over. We're going to add one of the washers. We're going to add the dial piece, and we're going to add the second washer. Flip it back and then push it through the back piece. Open up that brad. So the brad part that is opened is on the inside of the card. Flip it back over, make sure everything matches up, and then we are going to go ahead and glue this piece down. And it should work. Now my glue dried because I was away and didn't cover that up, dang it. So now we can just go ahead and glue that down. And I did go back, I'm not going to do it in this video, but I did go back and make all those dial pieces, or dial covers, excuse me, bigger for these cards because they were a little bit too small. So when you download your file, you will have the larger dial pieces in the back. Okay, now we're going to make sure that that spins. It's still wet. See, much better. Just works the way it's supposed to. Now we can open it up and we're going to add our dome. Place it right on the line with the hang tab away from the opening. And take your glue gun and just glue that down. Make sure that's lined up on there. Let's take it all the way around. Okay. I usually do this part first so the glue can dry while I do the front, but we messed that all up. So now we have our front, and we've put everything together. We're going to flip it over and we're going to put some pop dots or some foam tape on the back of that. Oh, it's raining. It's really raining out there. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it is coming down hard. Got a little summer storm going. Okay, let's go ahead and peel these all off. flip it over and let's line this up. Just kind of push it down around there. And then we have, oops, I didn't line that up very good, so I'm gonna pull it off and do it again. There we go, much better. Okay, so now I'm going to take the bucket handle, the little ribbed piece, put a little bit of glue on it, and glue it to the top of the handle. And if you want the frame, you can add that. If you don't want it, you don't have to. And now we can go ahead and fill it. I'm going to turn it over to the back. Because it's the dial, we can fill it after it's assembled. And this time I've just got some M&Ms. Ooh, those smell good. It's lunchtime. Close it up. And there is our beach card. Isn't that fun? So we have 4 cards today. We did the gumball machine, the beach, the ice cream, and the camera. All of them with 2 different backs, whichever one you want. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up. Hit subscribe down below so that you don't miss any of my videos. And have a great day.